it going? This is Rory from Rate My Funeral. That was Rate, by the way. So welcome back. Oh, it's been so long, right? I haven't done a tutorial in God knows how long. But anyway, let's not waffle on. Let's just get on with it. I'm sure you're dying to hear what this one's all about. Well, it's a revisit. So the old motion camera video I did a little while back. I thought it's about time I updated it and went a little bit deeper and talked a little bit more about what you can do with it. The motion camera is one of the most powerful tools. Well, it probably isn't. I don't know. It's well up there anyway. But it's one of these things that I use all the time. If you watched any of my ragdoll videos, you may have even noticed that probably 95% of them are done with the camera, using the motion camera to kind of give it that handheld look, because I just feel like it makes it so much more natural and adds that element of realism to any kind of animation. Not all of them, but in a lot of cases, it's beautiful. And it's really powerful, like what you can actually do with it. So let's just stop waffling, Rory. Come on. And let's have a quick look at what it is. So basically, the motion camera. If I create a camera in my scene and then right-click on the camera and do camera tags, motion camera, you'll see what this does is it puts a camera person standing there holding a camera. Really like look there. And basically we have some control over this and what it does. Now we can come into here. We've got under rig, we can set the height of our cameraman, like how tall he is or she. I shouldn't say cameraman, I'll stick with camera person there. I'm not going down that route anyway. But you can move the arms around, up and down. You can even back and forward. You can move the head and he'll just kind of tilt his whole body, or you can just move the camera like that. So you kind of get these realistic movements and it's fantastic. However, if I try and move the camera itself, I just need to stop my animation playing, and I try and move the camera, I can't. It doesn't let me. It's locked. And it's because of this rig. Now, obviously one way is you just use this and you animate all of these things. But look, if you pull that up, you end up with a cameraman that looks like Mr. Tickle. And that's not the idea of this. This is supposed to be sort of realistic. So I don't use it like this. So let me just delete that. My camera, I'll start off by zeroing it out. So I can hit this PSR. It's now called Reset Transform. But PSR it down to our scene 0 point. And then I'm going to put it inside of a null object. So with the camera selected, I hold down Alt and I click the null button. And that puts the camera into a null. Okay, now I right click and now press motion camera. While it looks the same, if I grab that null, I can now move it around and animate it. And this is the key point for how I do a real vast majority of my animations. So let's have a look. Remember, we can still move all of this stuff in the rig however we want. And I often do. And you can just keyframe it and just say, I just want it to kind of look up a bit and then I want it to look down. And you can just keyframe it to do that. Perfect. However, let's just start off with some basics. I'm going to animate the null. So let's just move him back a little bit. Let's go hop into the view. Yep, so we can see the guys standing there. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to tilt his head down a little bit just so that we're looking at our people like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that null. Let's go back to here, set a keyframe, and I don't know, 120 frames. We'll then come forward and set another keyframe. So now, if we have a look at that and we press play, we can see he is walking forwards. Now it's kind of hard to see exactly what's happening here. However, let's go back in. We can see there's this kind of wobble. So this is the first thing you get. You kind of get this kind of dynamic flowing camera that's not completely static. So this is really powerful in itself. Now what's happening here, we can see under this motion tab. Right, so right now by default, we have no intensity for footsteps or head rotation. We just have camera rotation and position. So let's zero all of that out. Now when we hit play, it kind of just looks like it's just a track, basically. It is just a standard track on our scene. However, look, if we just put on footsteps and obviously going full maxed out, we then get boom, 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 boom. It's almost like he's running because it's quite fast. So maybe we could move this keyframe a bit further away and it won't seem like he's running. It'd be more like he's just walking, but he's got a bit of a bound in his stride. There he goes, look, see? So this is nice, right? But then you combine this with a bit of head rotation. Because obviously he's not like an owl. You know, he can't his head's not on a gyro, so his head would be wobbling a bit. So if we add a bit of this head rotation, I'll just pull down the footsteps a little bit. So now we've kind of got this slight pivot as he's walking. You can see it just twists a little bit, and that's beautiful. And then you can kind of see when now he's standing still, that's just the head rotation. So that's just his kind of normal head rotation. It's a bit exaggerated here, up so high, but combine that with a bit of the camera rotation and the camera position, and you've now got this kind of full-on walking cameraman wobbliness that just looks absolutely fantastic. And these are super, super powerful, just playing with these. So what we've just set up here just took seconds, right? We animated a null and we've set the intensity of these motions. And this is what I do on a good number of my animations. Typically, I do something like that. And then that gives enough for it to not be overbearing, but it still have enough movement to feel kind of fluid. So yeah, so that's what I would do just for an absolute basic standard camera track or whatever. But there's a lot more you can actually do with this camera rig. So firstly, just before we do move on, under the tab dynamics, you have these, you can do foot dynamics, head dynamics, hands dynamics. And what this is, it's dampening of that movement. So for example, under the footsteps, if we put this right up, in all honesty, it's quite hard to see. But let's turn the others right down. So we've just got the footsteps. He's just sort of bounding over there. Dum, dum, dum. Now what we can do is we can enable this and we can just dampen the position and the rotation a little bit. And basically it just sort of softens the strides. So it's kind of like a little bit more clumpy. The way I kind of liken it is it's almost like as if you're adding kind of tar to the floor and making it just that little bit more kind of, or maybe like walking in a dream or something like this. To be honest, I don't really use this side that much, but I can see where it's got value. And like I say, it's the same for kind of the head and the hands dynamics. It just dampens it. But you can actually change this to spring. Again, this is something I've never really used. I'm sure it has a place, but it kind of, instead of damp, you can kind of see he's got a bit more of a spring in his step. It's pretty difficult to really see. But what it does mean is this versatility allows you to make some really interesting different effects. Just move some sliders around and you'll have a slightly different look. That's what's really nice about it. Okay, so now the big deal, right? So what if we don't want just a straightforward walking forward thing going on? Right, well, we can do this really easily with this. Let me just clear the keyframes. I just deleted the camera. Let me do that again. I'll just do it like this. I'll select all of these, animation, delete track. There we go. That clears those keyframes. So he's not walking forward anymore. So anyway, so if we now look under animation, as I mentioned to you before, we can use rig. We can set this to make it look around. However, under the animation, we have some really interesting options. There are things like path splines. So this is what our camera person is actually able to walk along. So we can create some splines for them to walk along, but down here we have targets and we can have up to 4 targets and then morph between where he's kind of looking. Now, let's try and set something up here. So obviously we've got our camera and as you can see, he's just kind of looking straight. And if I go into the top-down view and I take a spline tool and I just draw something, I don't know, just a simple shape, something like that looks around like so. Then we go into our camera, motion camera, and put that spline onto spline path A. You can see it's put him on there. And this slider here will allow us to animate him walking along it. And he will walk with his footsteps and everything if we animate that. Problem is, obviously, he's always looking straight forward. So again, we could use the rig and we could turn him and animate him. However, we can use our targets. So let's just go into our targets here. And we'll just use something, I don't know, like the glass. Boom. So he's now looking at the glass. If we just go into the camera, we can see that. Yep, he is looking directly at the glass. And if I now move that camera position, he is staying looking at that glass. So that's really cool. It's got a few limitations though, in the fact that it will look at that object's kind of axis point. So just to give a slightly better example, if I change it to the chair, do you see how it's looking at the base of the chair? And as we animate that, that might not be kind of what we want, because if you're trying to make a nice composition of your scene, you don't necessarily want it looking like that. So that's why I personally tend to use nulls. So I will create, I'm just going to get that back in there. There we go. I will create a null. and I will put it where I want it to be. So for example, if I wanted to say, look at his head, I'll put the null on his head. Rather than choosing his head object, I'll put the null on his head and then go into there. I'd normally name it, but that'll do, target A. And now what you can see is it is now looking at his head. And the nice thing about that is if I decide, you know what, I need the camera just to look down just a touch, I'll just move that to about there. So actually maybe it's looking at his chest. And there we go. And that way it keeps it kind of all central to the camera and nice. And we get a little bit more flexibility. So we have that. But then what if, well, I want him to look at more than one object. So what if we make a copy of this null and we put it on our other guy? Then we can set null 2 as maybe target B. Then we have this slider down here, so we can now move between target A and target B. Excellent. We can even go as far as, let's just say, we use this candle holder rather than making a null. We'll use that as target B. We can then move from target A and then slide this one to move to target B. But then slide this one to go back to target A. So we can kind of, it's really powerful what you can do with it if you start sort of thinking about how you can use this. And then we can combine this with another spline. So let's open up this again. We'll grab our spline tool, make sure the other spline isn't selected, and we'll just come from, I don't know, here, something like that, something like that. Actually, yeah. It's not supposed to be absolutely perfect, just something. Right, okay, yeah, that'll do. And now we'll put that spline into spline path B. See, now we can blend in the same way. So we can always move from spline path A to B, but we can move from A, then blend the two, and then move from B. And that gives us a kind of a complete track round. Like in the past, I would do this, you know, by putting a circle spline, target, null, align to spline, do it like that. But with this, it looks so much better. So let's just now make this into a scene. So 0, we're looking at the blue ragdoll, and I want camera position A, and then I'll just go up to, I don't know, somewhere around here, and I'll put that full there. Then I will keyframe blend and just come forward a bunch of frames, put that to full. Then I will keyframe position B, go right to the end and put that like so. Now the only thing I am going to do here is just select all those keyframes, Control A, right click and do linear so that it doesn't kind of ease in. I want it to sort of seem like one continuous motion. So now when we press play, we can see that we're walking. We're going around. I think we did turn off all of our motion, so we'll fix that like that. There we go. Actually, let's go crazy. Let's put it all up to full. There we go. So now we've kind of got, yeah, that's a bit too much. So somewhere in the middle. So now we're walking around him. Now, next step is the target where we're looking. So we'll come back down to here. So target position A to B. So somewhere, so we're looking at B, and then at this point here we want to sort of switch sort of fairly smoothly over to here like so, and then we're going to look to him as it passes round, and then for the final bit we'll do that so that it centralizes the scene for us. And there we go. Now let's have a look at our final scene. You can see our target, you can see where it's looking over at our blue guy, keeping him nice and central to the frame, and now we're just panning across. And obviously the speed we did that slider depends on how fast that'll be, but it's 2 keyframes, so it's super easy to adjust. And then it will move nicely into the center for our final shot. And what is really nice about this is, like I say, you can see this. You can see our camera person moving around, and it kind of really helps you visualize exactly what it is you're doing. So this is why I think this is such a great feature. It's really, really cool. And I mean, to be fair, that is pretty much what I use it for. I either use that first, I either use it in the first way I showed, or I use it in this way. There's a couple of other things you can do with it. Down here, there's the option for automatic banking, and it will make it just so he leans a bit more. If he turns fast, he'll sort of tilt a bit more. And then there's this other option here, which is chase object. Now this doesn't work so well with all this other stuff already in. The best way to think of chase object is, if you've got an object that's moving, imagine tying a rope to a camera and having that camera follow that object. So let's just set up a super quick example of this. We'll create an entire another camera. We'll do exactly the same thing again. So we zero it out, we put it into a null, we right click, motion camera, and it's getting a little bit busy in here. So I'll just switch the other one off for the minute. And let's create a cube. Good old fashioned, you can't go wrong with a good old fashioned cube. Now this can be a dynamic object or this could be keyframed, it doesn't matter. So I'll just go with keyframe and I'll go forward to here, keyframe, and then I'll come to here. And then let's see if I can grab that handle and bring that over to here. So that's kind of moving around. And then what we'll do is in our new motion camera we just created, we'll come to here, chase object, add that cube. And then you'll see he's now looking at it, but you'll see it changes slightly when it starts moving. You see? So now he's kind of there, he's watching it, and he'll now just follow it. And basically you can sort of choose how far away he is from it with the max and min distance. And yeah, like I say, it's definitely got its uses. Like maybe if you wanted to follow a car that was driving around in that kind of third person view, or maybe a spaceship in a space flight scene or something, or maybe even just trying to recreate a third person view of a camera following a person. That's where that would come in. I don't really use it, but it's still handy and useful to know. And that is it. I really hope you did enjoy this. I think this is such a powerful tool. You really, really should be using this, even if you only use it subtly. It is definitely one of the best ways I have found inside of Cinema 4D to animate a camera in a fluid, nice looking motion. Even if you don't use the footsteps and you just have it as just a little bit of camera wobble, just to really push that realism. Anyway, like I say, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it won't be too long till my next tutorial one. I am working on a big tutorial video. It's a bit excessive, but it will come eventually. Yeah. But anyway, if you did enjoy this, please remember, hit that like button, and it super helps me if you hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget the little bell just to get notified, blah blah blah, and all of that. And yeah, I guess last thing for me to say is I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.